And with the grand final a couple of weeks away, Mick Stone gets the appointment today. Mick Stone blows time on, and we're underway on a very warm afternoon at the football stadium as Van der Voort gets first touch of the football, brings it out just outside his quarter. Simmons in a dummy half, and here comes Carroll straight into the Canberra forwards. Very warm conditions today. These players will certainly be feeling it after a little while. Hottest day since the beginning of the season. Back for Alexander with the kick. Down for Belcher. Gallian fullback of the year, Belcher. Just outside his quarter. Pulled down by Mortimer. Now Lance. Wind is gusting a bit. Who's it favouring, Bill?
Well, Penrith won the toss and they've elected to come with it. It's a pretty strong northwesterly. It's a very hot breeze, but it does favour them, and that's just what they wanted, because to win this football game, I believe they're going to have to get their confidence up and score first.
5 tackles gone for the Raiders. And Belcher finds some open space for the kick. Now the controversial selection of Brad Izzard on the wing. First touch of the football for him. Inside the Penrith quarter. As Bradley runs away. On the blind side is Geyer. He's lost the football, so some pressure for Penrith as Canberra get possession 10 metres inside the Penrith half. Away goes Lazarus. Now Coyne. The penalty has gone to Canberra. It's Penrith inside the 5 metres. The outside backs. Mal Meninga, captain of the Canberra side, making the decision what to do. And he's given the football to Matthew Wood, and he's going to have a shot for goal. So Wood has this place just outside the quarter and about 11 metres in from touch. 17 goals is his tally for 1989. Again, the Raiders get first point on the board. And Wood's kick is a very good one, right between the posts. So the Raiders go to an early lead over Penrith, 2-0. So the Panthers with the restart. A bright sunny day, and you'll notice the shadows, very definite shadows here at the football stadium. As Daly, who's very heavily strapped around the thigh, brings it out past the quarter. He's had a fair bit of hamstring injury trouble over the year. And Meninga. Here's Todd.
Well, have a look at these lower grades, and it's all Canberra at the moment, isn't it? Under 21s, they had a good win over Eastern Suburbs, 22 points to 8. They were leading Manly by a vast score, and finally Manly got up to 24, but still Canberra 29. So congratulations to the Canberra club, new in the competition, but showing a great deal of depth.
The kick taken calmly by Brad Izzard. And Baker. Within 5 metres and runs into Mal Meninga. Goodness me, what a awful sight that would be. Here's Carroll, gets up towards the halfway mark and gets back slam for his trouble. Heavy defence coming in from the Canberra forwards, and surely the forwards, Bill Anderson, is an area where Penrith really must dictate.
Well, no chance of beating Canberra in the backs. You know, they're 1,000,000 to 1 if they don't get top on top in the forwards. But You know, and they're not without hope in this game, Penrith. I think they've got an improved side to what we saw last week, and if they get a good forward platform, that'll allow that man, Greg Alexander, to cut loose, and he is the potential match winner.
And Matthew Wood to bring it away. Tremendous hits coming in from the Canberra forwards. Let's see what the Panthers can come up with. Clyde. Down a short blind side out for Wood. Tries to step Izzard. Now it's Lance. Straight into Carroll and Simmons. They go across into Panther territory. Stewart. The ball was touched. O'Sullivan was onside. It couldn't fall for him.
Gee, that was a close moment there.
Baker. Driven backwards by Daly. Peter Sterling, White or who is going to decide this game?
Well, I must agree with Billy Anderson. Obviously, from Penrith's point of view, Greg Alexander must play a major role. And I suppose looking at the Canberra side, they're going to be looking for plenty of involvement from Mal Meninga coming in, taking a little bit of pressure off the forwards and just using his great ability and size.
We're at the back for Simmons. Alexander pushing players off him. Geyer, the dummy. Sterling still when he took the ball, he wasn't coming onto it. Last tackle. Alexander again. Gets up on the first bounce for Belcher. Runs away from Vandervoort. He just manages to hang on with one arm. O'Sullivan. Wood. Lost the football. Great chance here for Penrith. Over for them. Alexander cuts out Carroll for Fittler. Mortimer. Good hands. Baker the dummy. Simons. Quick ball movement from Penrith. They do it again now. Carroll doesn't cut him out this time. Walker is a dummy. The Geyer. Only about 15 metres out from the Canberra line. Alexander for Fittler to step. And keep on going. Back for Alexander now. He keeps it moving. Simons out for Baker. Back infield goes Mortimer. The defence holds. Once more it's the last tackle. Alexander, the bomb. Won't go into the in goal. Offside as the ball fell to Fittler. He was on his way for the try line, but the Panthers were offside.
Yeah, it's a good bomb. It was a bomb that on the State Bank replay that looked the goods. The referee has spied some offside play there. The ball went out to Fittler on the rebound. This young man cleared away on the edge of the ruck and would have scored a try had it not been for the offside play. That's a bit of a desperate moment for Camp.
Stewart moves it away.
I believe this Penrith pack have got to be much more constructive than they have been. They've got to do more than just run into the opposition. They've got to distribute the ball.
Interesting to see if Geyer and Carroll can do that. O'Sullivan. Good for Clyde through the dummy. A big match last week, O'Sullivan. Now, Walters. Third semi-final in the history of the Penrith Panthers. They've yet to win one. Now there's a dust-up between Bradley and Clyde, who were trading punches. The kick goes down away from Baker. Looks as though it'll stay in the in goal. Ferguson's down there quickly. Great tackle, he lost it! Try! Canberra! Unbelievable! Neil Baker has made one of the biggest blunders there is in big-time football. What a tackle from Ferguson.
I feel desperately sorry for Baker here. He wouldn't want to have anything to do with anybody at the moment. He just wants to be there on his own, realising he's made a terrible blunder. Look at this kick. Picks it up in the in goal, tries to belt his way out of it. In comes the tackle from Ferguson. Loses the ball, tries desperately to get away, and Daly's there to fall on it for a soft try. This is awful stuff for Baker. I feel, as I said, desperately sorry for him. But unfortunately, we have to show these terrible moments in a footballer's career. Look at that, losing the ball back in the end goal and Daly scoring a try without a player being within 10 or 12 yards of him. Absolutely astonishing that a first-grade footballer could do that.
So, great moments for Canberra and Daly. But at the other end, of course, desperation and anguish to Neil Baker.
And Baker has been playing quite well at the opening passage of this match. He's been running, he's turned the ball back inside a few times. He's looked good, he looked confident. My God, that's going to set him back in his heels.
I only wonder if that's going to upset Baker for the rest of the match, or wonder if he can get back on the rails.
Well, he is a confident player, and unfortunately that sort of thing usually does turn him right off.
Matthew Wood now successful with his first attempt. Another one from out wide, kicks it beautifully, hits the upright. Score remains Canberra 6, Penrith 0.
Semi-final. All eyes will be on Neil Baker now to see if he can get over that. And he very nearly kicked the ball dead. It's come back for Clyde though, bounced back for him. Clyde caught by Vandervoort, just 10 metres out from the Canberra line. Lazarus. Peter Sterling, what do you do when you're Neil Baker?
Well, you try and put that out of your mind. I know it's very difficult. It's a good test of Neil Baker's mental toughness now. You know, mental toughness is what's going to win this football game. If he can get over that and the Penrith side can the rails, you know, they've just got to show they're a good enough side to recover.
Here's Belcher. Here's Baker. Takes it calmly. He really would be desperately looking to make a split here, wouldn't he?
Yeah, if you're desperate to do anything at the moment, the poor devil, he must be feeling desperately low. But it's just a matter of going on. As Peter has said, it's a matter of just continuing on.
That is getting involved in the play. Now Simmons did well to offload to his art. Here's Alexander. Little driver. Little Billy looks back inside. Alexander was there, but he couldn't get the ball free.
Well, there's got to be a penalty to Penrith there because Alexander was taken out of the play. I think the transgressor might have been Sullivan. No, it was Stewart. But nonetheless, the penalty goes to the Penrith side around about 10 metres out from the quarter.
So Baker gets a chance to redeem himself a little with this shot for goal. 11 metres in, 32 metres out.
I think the reply was tying.
A kick to go straight.
You saw Dean Lance getting some water to his head. He's had a hard knock and just above the eye.
He's been a splendid player for the Canberra club.
47 goals for Neil Baker. Will this be 48? He's pushed it to the right. So it's not going his way. No change to that score. Canberra 6 and Penrith 0. So Ricky Stewart with the restart for the Raiders. Well taken by Matt Goodwin. Simmons, a little scamper from dummy half. And here comes Carroll.
They're just running one out at the moment, though. That's the thing that concerns me, and losing the possession, although that must have been stolen from him by the Canberra side. Coyne's got up and Well, Coyne's the main transgressor there. See the left arm over the body? That would have been fiddling around for the ball, and it's come loose.
Well, there's Dean Lance. We saw him getting attention. He's still in trouble, Bill.
He's got a bad head cut, and Mark Lowry in 41's warming up. Now, obviously, the trainers have had a look at him, and they're deciding whether he can continue or come straight to the head bin. But from the looks of things, he's decided to play on.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie, Dean Lance. Now, Neil Baker, with an easier attempt to put 2 points on the board for the Panthers. This is just outside the right-hand upright. Unsuccessful with his first one, but successful with his second, and the Panthers are on the board. So it's Canberra now 6 and Penrith 2.
The crowd here at the stadium that's enjoyed some brilliant sunshine today on a very hot Saturday in Sydney. Belcher to kick off for the Raiders. Down for Geyer. He winds himself up. Carroll. Impressive last week against Balmain. Simmons. Back for Carroll. Ball was away for Vandervoort, but they've lost it. Not controlling possession at all, the Panthers. Daly. Towards the sideline, tries to get it back in. He knows better than that.
Yeah, Simmons was the man really responsible. Look at him carting him towards the sideline, number 5 there, and gets him over the sideline, even though Daly threw a one-handed pass, which still went into touch.
Mortimer at 5'8" for this scrum. The big kick. He's got some chasers in Fittler, Bradley and Izzard. Matthew Wood, the only man back there. To the outside of Fittler. He won't get away from him. Clyde away for Ferguson. Not the start of one of his great runs. Bradley puts paid to that. Clyde. As I said, not controlling the football. 4 handling errors against the Panthers. Walters. Forced to kick. Belcher's back with Stewart. It goes for Stewart. And Izzard comes infield. Straight into O'Sullivan and also Coyne. Mortimer away for Vandervoort. Have they got it right this week, Peter Sterling, or would you like to see Mortimer even closer, permanently at 5'8"?
I've been impressed with the Penrith start. Generally, it's pretty enthusiastic, except for, as happened just then, a couple of drop balls in their own half. I think Royce Simmons has started the game particularly well. If he can open up...
Well, the Canberra Raiders are the ones that have opened it up, Peter. Wood. The Raiders caught them napping out wide. Meninga. Straight into the forwards. As the Raiders now camp themselves just outside the 22. Stewart. Lance. Bounces away from one. Right in midfield. Stewart for O'Sullivan. No advantage played here. Mick Stone was just called for the penalty straight away. Well, they'll be penalised a further 10. Alexander's got 5 in the sin bin. Crazy. That's crazy football from Alexander. The Raiders will just settle down now and go for goal. They're a man short.
Yes, one really can't agree with or believe that a player would do that. I mean, that's exactly what the sin bin was designed for. Those little fouls that are not dirty play but illegal play, deliberately designed to slow down the action and stop the opposition from scoring. So Alexander has taken the odds to it, and now he's got 5 in the bin. And that's not done his team a whole lot of good, and hasn't done the blood pressure of his coach, Ron Willey, any good at all, I can tell you.
There's Willey high up discussing the Alexander sin binning. Matthew Wood. Ten metres in from touch for Matthew Wood. 1 from 2. His second attempt from right out near the sideline. Hit the upright. This one's not going to hit the upright. Just shaves it. Score remains Canberra 6, Penrith 2.
So the Panthers with Alexander in the sin bin for 5 minutes, and Baker restarts. And the penalties have favoured the Raiders 4-2 at this stage. As Coyne gets up to the halfway mark. Caught by Simmons and Walker. Now Meninga taking on the forwards. Stewart, and then to Belcher. It's away from one and still in the clear now, Gary Belcher. Good run from him. Away goes O'Sullivan. His kick ahead, and Mortimer had trouble picking it up, and Baker was there to pick up the dregs. So the Panthers now in all sorts of trouble, getting in their own way. Walker thrown to the ground only a metre inside the field of play.
He wasn't even facing his opponent's goal line when that pass was given to him.
Sloppy stuff from Penrith. Simmons will play it. Here comes Carroll. Put down by the two props, Lazarus and Todd. Now Izzard. Kick from Baker, bouncing towards the touchline, finds it, a magnificent kick under all sorts of pressure too.
Well, let's show you something great from Neil Baker. And there it is, a magnificent end-over-end kick that's gained him about 60 metres. That's a fine kick and the sort of thing he is capable of doing. I was going to say earlier in this match, wonder what sort of mood the talented but erratic Penrith fullback Neil Baker will be in today. Will he pull on a match-winning performance, or will his first unforced error blow his concentration? Well, we've had part of the answer. He was able to come back and put in a damn good kick there.
Here's Stewart down the blind side. Belcher was there, and the defence reached Belcher at the same time as the football did. Todd caught by Walker and Carroll. Now O'Sullivan, and then on to Clyde. Cleaned up the other end of the Dally-M's Bradley Clyde. Here's Coyne now. 5 tackles gone for Canberra. And Stewart sends Baker 10 metres from his own line. Ran away from Izzard. Meninga's there to take him. So was O'Sullivan. The Panthers again inside their own quarter as Izzard brings it outside. 6-2. The Raiders have Penrith at the moment. And there's Simmons again from dummy half, links up with Simons. Simons very nearly to the halfway mark. Carroll. 5 tackles gone. Now the Penrith forwards are starting to find a few little holes here in the Canberra defence as Baker gets his kick away. Bill, I noticed Cronulla did the same thing to Canberra last week.
Yeah, it's a very tired Cronulla side with Gavin Miller leading the way, found quite a few holes, and I think Penrith can do it too, but it's important to do that. You've got to have the ball for your 6 tackles, but if they can eliminate handling errors, there are holes there to be found.
On his own line is Ferguson. Alexander comes back from the sin bin as the Raiders desperately try to get away from their own goal line. Clyde will play it 10 metres out. Dean Lance almost reaches the corner line on a pass that may have been a fraction forward. Coyne. Alexander right into the play. 5 tackles gone for the Raiders. O'Sullivan out to Meninga. A little bit of room for them out there as Wood runs on to Meninga's pass, takes the tackle. That'll be a turnover just 10 metres inside the Canberra half.
They risked it trying to run on the last tackle. Now the Panthers come up with the ball in good position. Carroll. They're obviously missing John Cartwright around the rucks. Vandervoort. Need that ball playing forward to be able to unload, find those holes that Billy Anderson was talking about. Bradley. Alexander. He looks wide for Fittler, and Baker joins in. Got a pass out the back. It was going to be forward.
Yes, clearly forward. See it again on the State Bank replay. Baker tries to get a pass around the body of the player that's tackled him, number 2, Wood, there, and it went patently forward. Izzard couldn't handle it.
Once more, the Penrith side don't control the ball. O'Sullivan, Meninga, Belcher, the extra man, and through. Back for O'Sullivan. To the outside of Bradley, beat him easy. Right on halfway. And this Canberra backline continuing where they left off last week. Johnny Ferguson. Meninga. Out wide for Belcher. Desperate tackle from Fittler. Meninga again. Quick play of the balls now. Long pass out for Wood. He takes on Izzard. He beats him. He'll score. The Raiders backline has cut loose again. Try. They're throwing it around. They've got their fans on their feet.
And so they should. That was a beautiful try. A bit of individual work there by Wood, which notes him down as a player of infinite quality. Now watch the pass go out. Izzard comes. He's got him temmed against the sideline, but pulls off a very, very insecure tackle. A tackle that was non-event. There was cover there from number 12, but still he comes around, goes desperately close to the touch and goal line, or the dead ball line rather. Here's Meninga, who seems to me to be the ideal player for a winger, ideal centre for a winger. He gets Wood on the outside of his man. Izzard is trailing all the time, but watch carefully as this young fella comes around and scores the try, just how close he goes to the dead ball line. Well, it's only a matter of a split second there, and he's the try could have been disallowed. That's where we could have another judge to rule on these situations, because the referees back in the field of play couldn't possibly have seen that. But as in hindsight, we can tell you that he only just scored that try, even though the opposition was very, very close to pushing him dead.
Well, a line ball call for Matthew Wood, trying to improve the position for his own attempted goal. That one will be talked about. Wood, unsuccessful. The Raiders with a good lead though, 10-2.
Yeah, we'll have a look at this again from a low angle and just try to slow it down a little bit as we come around to the action. There's the line. Here's the dive. Gee whiz, that's close. I really, I've had 3 looks at that, and I can't tell you with any great authority that he scored the try. But the try has been allowed, and I commend the New South Wales Rugby League to have a look at that situation, because it will be very relevant to having a touch in goal, an in-goal umpire.
Great defence from Penrith. They nearly forced Wood back into his own in goal, from one end to the other. Ironic that Michael Stone was quoted during the week as saying that he certainly wouldn't knock back some extra help in that in-goal area. 56 tackles they've had the football for, the Raiders. 47 for Penrith. So are we going to see the Panthers out of the semi-finals? Poor start for them. Stewart. Long torpedo down to the Penrith quarter. Simons. Daly and O'Sullivan have got him.
You could almost in your sleep just say Sullivan will be there, because he always is.
Great tackle from Dean Lance. Baker runs away from dummy half. Lance has got him too. George Peggins doesn't seem to be too interested in the form of either of these sides up in the stand. He's maybe just checking the starting lineups for the big one tomorrow. You see all that action of the major semi-final between Balmain and Souths from 6 o'clock. Great game it's going to be. Now they're set to kick. Alexander away for Baker. He kicks down towards the sunshine. And Gary Belcher,
who's made his presence felt in this game so far with a couple of nice runs. Now this is on the wood. So 2 controversial tries scored as Meninga is still able to offload to Belcher. 5 metres from the halfway mark. Todd takes play over the halfway. The run around amounts to nothing as Walters takes the tackle. And the kick for touch is just going to miss. So perilously close. Izzard is able to pick it up in the end goal and bring it out. So again, they're chasing pretty well, Pete Sterling.
Yeah, it's one of the strengths of the Canberra game. Obviously, with Ricky Stewart belting them down, the kick is only as good as the chase, and Canberra chased very well. You saw when Penrith kicked out of Gary Belcher, they ran it back 30 yards, and you know, it's just a huge advantage territorially.
Sure is. Simmons playing the football. Here comes Matt Goodwin.
No, I'm afraid the Penrith side haven't got the ability in the forwards to use the ball, to pass the ball when they make these forward runs. They're just not getting the ball free in any way at all. They're just running one out.
Well, again, it illustrates how much they do miss John Cartwright, who is one player who can offload the football. Here's Belcher now. And this Stewart, a long ball for O'Sullivan. He's got Meninga with him on a pass. It's gone a mile forward. Mick Stone has ruled it that way.
I think that was more in hope than... look at that. That's gone, what, 5 metres forward. Gee whiz. I've seen them allowed, so we had to play on.
We saw one allowed last week. So Alexander works the scrum. 10 metres inside the Penrith half. Alexander blindside into the gap. He's got support from Izzard. This is going to be a try. Brett Izzard is going to score, trying to improve his position a little, but the Panthers are back. Put that down to Alexander down that blindside. Always dangerous.
A classic try, a standard try, as we've seen now with the lock forwards having to stay in the scrum. There's Alexander, runs on the blind side. The lock forward having to stay in the scrum is a little bit late coming out. He runs to the fullback and offloads the football to his wing three-quarter, who's unmarked. Now, we've seen a number of these tries scored this year. They're from set scrums when the teams have got to be wide apart, the 5 metres apart, and the lock forward has to stay in. So there it was, a very well organised try. Ron Willey will be beaming over that one because Izzard has scored it without an opponent being anywhere near him, not within a bull's roar of him, were they? A very simple try, as it turned out. He's got the idea and comes round and selectively puts the ball down. That's a good fight back immediately from the Penrith side.
And only 3 tries to Brad Izzard in the top grade this year because he hasn't been used all that often, which has led to speculation that perhaps he'll be seeking a release from the club during the off-season.
Yes, I think it's a little bit more than speculation.
Well, it's been kind. Alexander started that with that pass from Vandervoort down the blind side. Now Neil Baker on the junction of the quarter line and the 10-metre mark. Hits it wide, has pushed it wide to the right. Can't improve that score. Canberra still lead Penrith now, 10-6. Gary Belcher with the restart for the Raiders. Down for Carroll. Coyne is there to take him. 15 metres out from the Penrith line, and he hasn't moved. Well, Carroll took the football up. Coyne was there. It looked like a simple tackle, but he hasn't moved.
Yeah, well, State Bank replay. There was nothing illegal in that particular area of the tackle. I think his head may have hit the knee of the player, Walters, who was standing in front of him. That'll be the case. He asked him where he is, what game he's playing in, and what ground he's at.
He couldn't answer either.
Now he's back up, Carroll, to rejoin the action as quickly as possible. Geyer. They go inside the last 5 minutes before half-time. Goodwin. Try for the Panthers that will now give them some real confidence. Alexander kicking for touch away from Belcher. Fittler and Izzard are down there. Good tackle from Fittler. Wood. This time a good tackle from Izzard. Clyde. Canberra have allowed them back into the match just before half-time. Of course, we keep mentioning one team bows out today. The winner will go on to meet the loser of Balmain and Souths. Stewart. Right between Baker and Simons. Sullivan. Nice and low. Bradley. No one to pass to. He goes blindside. Alexander. Carroll. Solid contact between he and Lance. Vandervoort. Lance has done some good things for the Raiders in defence. Alexander. Over the head of Belcher. Starts breaking towards touch. Belcher's going to let it go over the sideline.
Another splendid kick on the State Bank replay will show this very hard break. It's the sort of break that you'd hope that one of the off-spinners in the Australian team could pull off. Cricket team, that is, but that's a good 50-metre gain. Alexander was the man that did the kick.
Let's just see if Royce Simmons can pull off a win against the feed here. Walters can't get down. The Raiders have got it. O'Sullivan. Stewart. Grabs 5 or 6 metres. The Panthers have missed 11 tackles against the Raiders 6. Lazarus right on his own quarter line. Penrith picking up their momentum a little bit. 10-6 the scoreline. Stewart with the kick. And a long one. In and out of the shadows. Magnificent from Stewart. That really takes the heat off.
Yes, State Bank replay again. We're seeing some great kicking here from both sides. This one comes about with Ricky Stewart getting the right foot to it, driving it hard and low, and it's over 50-metre gain again, so we're going backwards and forwards up and down the field.
So from one end to the other, where it's now Penrith that need possession. Fittler lost the football. Bradley's lost it. There will be time for a scrum to go down here prior to the break.
Well, watch it again. There's pretty tardy handling there, and there was the knock-on by Bradley at the end of that. Pretty ordinary stuff. Now, this gives the Canberra side the opportunity to score a similar type of a try to that which Penrith scored.
The interesting thing here is that Laurie Daly has moved to 5'8". The big man's come in from centre, and the switch with O'Sullivan and himself. Now Daly, they try to go the blind side with Clyde and Stewart. About 45 seconds remaining till half-time. Stewart, field goal. He snaps it. 1 point. They didn't worry about the 4 or 6.
State Bank replay shows the very quick reflexes and the very true boot that young Ricky Stewart puts on that with a right foot. That's a point, valuable point at this time.
11-6. Baker slowly back to halfway. Time almost up in the first half. Right into the sun, over the head of Stewart. And it finds touch. There won't be time for the scrum, though. So that's going to be wasted, that kick. And they'll go to the break with Canberra leading 11 points to 6.
It's zinc cream and T-shirt weather in Sydney at the Sydney Football Stadium as we prepare for the second half of this very exciting semi-final clash. Sudden death between the Raiders and the Panthers. They say the Raiders, well, they certainly have their nose in front at the moment. 11-6, Canberra lead Penrith. And there's the fantastic Daihatsu charades, all part of the Daihatsu That's Who, That's You competition that we're running, the Face in the Crowd competition.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to do.
As Neil Baker prepares to get things underway for the second half. We check the first half tackles. Canberra made 103 of them. Todd and Coyne the best. Penrith 107, and Matty Goodman showing the way there. And Nick Stone blows time on. What's the story in the dressing rooms, Bill?
Well, the first thing is there have been no changes, but Canberra are going to kick to that far southeastern corner where the sun is. They think it's pretty difficult to handle the ball there, and they'll be looking to get Brad Clyde wider. Penrith, Ron Willie, well, he feels that his side's got to get more variation in their forward play. He just believes they're very pedestrian and stereotyped, and they won't crack Canberra that way. I agree with him. There are holes there, but they're not taking advantage of them.
All right, we'll see what this second half brings as Lazarus claws his way to the corner line in a very strong run. Here's Coyne, caught by Vandervoort. Back for Stewart. Still able to get his kick in.
Good one too.
It's an excellent kick. It's rolling and stopping in the in goal. Pressure for Baker. He's forced to try in the first time. This time he hung on to the football, but he lost something else.
Well, I saw that headgear come off and I thought it was the football that he'd spilled again, and I nearly died. I thought it couldn't happen twice in one game.
Well, the Panthers now under plenty of pressure trying to get out from this position. Larry Walker playing at 5 metres out. Here's Fiddler. Now Carroll. They've used up 5. Alexander gets his kick in. And again, this is another beauty rolling towards the touchline. Gee, we've seen some great kicking.
Indeed, that was a magnificent kick, low trajectory, so low indeed that I thought it was going to be touched or deflected by a Canberra player, but he got it past them and right over the sideline, about a 60-metre gain from where he was. Incredible.
Well, Nick Stone is calling out Roy Simmons.
Well, they were complaining that the ball was touched.
Well, Mafat had something to say, and the referee didn't like it. So Stewart it is who will feed it. And O'Sullivan, and then on to Meninga. O'Sullivan again at dummy half, on his own. Gets to within 10 metres of the halfway mark. Dean Lance now suffered a very nasty cut above the eye. Gamely has played on. Here's another very strong run. Gee whiz. Lazarus has shown some enormous strength in this game. Meninga, a cutout ball for Wood. With Mortimer, at least Fiddler is there to pick him up. Now Stewart again. Simon's chasing it. Right in that corner that Bill Anderson was telling us they're going to kick to, and they've done just that. And Johnny Ferguson has wrapped Simons up very well. Now Vandervoort running straight across field and straightens, and this is a good effort from Vandervoort to get out near the corner line.
Yes, indeed. That's a first-class run by Vandervoort.
Scrappy stuff now as Bradley has to dive on the loose ball. Now Carroll. Matt Goodwin Again, 5 tackles gone. And Alexander will kick once more. Sends Belcher across for it, and he's had to let it bounce, and this time it bounced the right way for Belcher. He tried to get between Fittler and Izzard. Wood at dummy half. Out to Daly. Trying to get around Vandervoort. Got Ferguson with him. Stepping nicely, Johnny Ferguson. Pulled down 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Dean Lance away to Bradley Clyde. Clyde is gone through the gap. Up he goes, Bradley Clyde. He's got some support inside. And away he goes, and they're keeping it alive magnificently. Belcher very nearly pulled that football in. It amounted to nothing, and Alexander ended up falling on it.
Well, Ricky Stewart there went for the flamboyant flick pass on that occasion, and it came off Meninga and went to ground. I don't think Meninga really, the ball was intended for him. Went to another Canberra player and ricocheted.
So Penrith survived that one. Meninga went without it. It's so close. And the Panthers now through Alexander go wide with Geyer. Stepping straight into the waiting arms of Lance. It comes out for Baker. Last tackle. Looking for any variation here, Bill?
Certainly would be. I think Greg Alexander's the man. He should be looking to chip kick over the top into this breeze. Ricky Stewart, the cover defender for Canberra. He fluctuates between in the line and out of the line. If Alexander picks his time, he could get a result.
Belcher. Plenty of defenders down there. Both these teams continuing to turn each other around through their kicking games. Just waiting for something to break. Lance. Stewart calling the shots. O'Sullivan. Breaking tackles. Coyne is there on the inside. He tried a fancy pass around the back for Daly. A penalty goes against Penrith. Chris Mortimer wants to argue. It was touched by the Panthers.
Coyne running with the football. It was quite definitely touched by Mortimer there and fallen on in an offside position by Simmons, so I don't think there's anything to argue about. It was quite straightforward. But Elmer Fudd probably got a little bit of adrenaline pumping through his veins at the moment.
Stewart kicks for touch in front of a crowd of 20,300 at the stadium. Walters taking his time with the restart. Lazarus. Going to the back line. Meninga. Belcher. Ferguson from the opposite wing. Rushes past Izzard. Back for Wood. Mortimer's there to finish him off. Meninga is going to try and steal it down the blind side. Mortimer wasn't asleep. A mile forward. Just about a penalty, in fact.
Yes, clearly the pass from Belcher to Meninga there was way forward. The referee has seen it and put down a scrum, but that could have been construed as a deliberate offside.
Alexander to feed. Just how tough has the heat been, Peter Sterling? Are you expecting many replacements late in the second half?
No, I don't think so, Graham. Actually, it's cooled off quite nicely down here. It is still a little bit of a change to what we've experienced most of the season, but the Blakes are certainly fit at this end of the year, and I don't think the heat's a problem.
Fittler for Carroll. Alexander. Fittler stepping. The gap's there for him. He's got support. Alexander carries it on. Long pass out. Simons. He had support through Goodwin. He decided not to use him. Goodwin was clear. Alexander. Fittler. The long pass out for Bradley. He straightens. The Panthers are coming back. Mortimer. Geyer. Still going. Vandervoort. Right on the quarter line, last tackle. Alexander, the big bomber's coming. They're all onside this time. Belcher goes up and takes it magnificently.
Yes, no thought of self there. Belcher just flew for the ball, eyes up in the air, not worried in the least bit about what was coming, and he took it well above the rest. That's a great mark.
Daly to his feet. Lance. They've got the scrums 5-4, Canberra, and the penalties 5-2.
This Canberra side, with their technique of the ball carriers and the forwards when they come, taking it very, very flat, run very close to the wind at times. Some of the passing is very, very close to the wind.
Walters away for Stewart. Off the side of his foot and straight down to Neil Baker. To link up well. He does it beautifully to Andrew Simons. He beats Ferguson. Here's Bradley. Great comeback by Penrith. Down past the quarter, back on the inside. Alexander looking. Simons. Magnificent football. Canberra on the rack. They kicked, and now the Panthers have got him if they stretch it wide. Alexander showed it. Unloads for Goodwin. Juggles, and he straightens up.
It was a marvellous tackle by Lazarus then to stop the movement out on the left-hand side. Magnificent tackle.
Royce Simmons calling him to his feet. Fittler for Gaia. The defence is holding at the present. Carroll. Just one out stuff. I thought they'd be trying to keep it alive here. The flick pass for Gaia. Vandervoort. Here's a chance. Vandervoort struggling. He'll score. Did he get it down or not? Mick Stone says it's a try. He nearly didn't get there.
A magnificent sustained bit of football by the Penrith side, and they've come up with this. Now this has come about because some of the forwards moved the ball. Gaia passed the ball to Vandervoort. Vandervoort falls a little bit short. No suggestion of a double movement in the sense of reaching for the line and advancing his arm. But this is where it stung from Gaia offloading the football. I think they're so used to some of the Penrith forwards running and dying with it that shocked them into reality. Now he doesn't get it down the first time, he gets it down the second time clearly as he's in the in-goal area, rolled over. Vandervoort going strong and hard, short of the line. The big momentum of his carried him over in a rollover situation with Lazarus contesting the ball, and he gets it down there.
Well, now he's got some cramp problems. He struggled to get to that line, but what a try for Penrith. One from three for Baker. A kick to put them in front. We need it. They certainly do. Baker. They're in front, Penrith. Great goal. The flags are flying high for the Panthers. They lead 12-11.
Well, trouble now for Colin Vandervoort. He's hurt his knee. The doctor is on along with the trainer as we're underway again. The Panthers, their nose in front, but Canberra's been able to keep the ball dead.
Well, that's a sad sight because he has been arguably one of the best forwards on the field. He's a very tenacious runner, not as big as some of the others, but by gee, he makes up with a very large heart.
Rod McNeil coming onto the sideline. He's a fellow who's been up and down in first grade this year.
A manufactured forward, wasn't he a fullback?
Yes, fullback, and ended up in the forwards.
They're all good men finish.
So the Panthers with the goal line dropout, they've got their nose in front, and you better hang on to your hat because we've got a great game of football on our hands now as Meninga. The Panthers now playing with renewed confidence. They've proved once and for all that there is a way through the Canberra forwards
if they move the football.
So Bradley Clyde with a little error.
Yes, Bradley Clyde losing the ball there in a situation that he shouldn't. Walters unable to get into that scrum. Simmons probably denying him access.
We mentioned earlier that Gavin Miller was able to find some holes through the Canberra forwards last week. And Penrith starting to do the same as McNeil, the fresh man, takes the ball up. Now here's Geyer. Wood will pick it up for Canberra. So the Raiders back in possession. And here's Coyne, caught by Matt Goodwin. Dean Lance. Stewart. O'Sullivan, the little juggle. And still going, O'Sullivan, but he's been called back and he's been caught for a shepherd. Using one of his own players as an obstruction.
Well, see it again. Probably not quite as noticeable there because the player he went behind, who evaded for him, was standing to the right of him, so he ran around one side of him, not behind him, as often you see the referees will penalise.
So the Panthers' fine touch. Now Walker, just inside the Canberra half. Alexander, the run around with Simmons. Panthers playing with renewed confidence. It's Fittler. Out for Simons. Caught by Laurie Daly. Canberra change getting set there, Bill.
Paul Martin in 14 will be going on. We're told it's for Gary Coyne. He's a second rower. Martin's a fullback, so there'll be a shuffle.
Okay. Now the Panthers. Here's Geyer. 5 tackles gone for Penrith. Alexander tried to link up with Bradley. It looked awful, didn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty amateur stuff, that. Alexander running very, very fast and throwing a torpedo-like pass which evaded everybody. And Bradley just did a little bit of lash out at trying to speculate a kick. He couldn't even come in contact with it. So Coyne comes from the field. Martin goes on, and we'll tell you about the shuffle in position.
Lance continues to get through plenty of work. O'Sullivan, Clyde. Certainly look for Meninga and Belcher to really get involved now. And this man too, Daly. Here's Belcher. Out for Martin. He's taken a wing position. Goes infield. Meninga's there. He bounces off Baker. Back for Belcher. Sheens is screaming out some instructions from the sideline.
Just move it wide to the left. They've got him outside.
Long pass out. Matthew Wood. Back for Ferguson. Unloads for Lazarus. Stewart. Quick hands for Walters. Can he unload? He can. O'Sullivan's got support. Belcher. Meninga's gone infield. Martin. Inside. Izzard. He'll get in the corner. They've done it again through their back line. Whenever they're in trouble, their backs are bouncing up with a try.
Absolutely superb. I called it in the early part of this, and they moved it quick to the left. They had it. Well, they did too. There was the overlap out there, and the long pass put the player Wood on the outside. He got the pass back inside to Ferguson, who went through a couple of defenders, got it away to Lazarus. Lazarus got it back there to Stewart. Stewart away there to a player I can't identify at the moment, O'Sullivan, and then Martin's down the end of the line, gets through the Izzard tackle and scores a try. That's a beautiful bit of work. Really see it again from the different level of the camera, and I think you'll agree with me, this is classy stuff. This Canberra side really know how to play open football. Watch Ferguson now accelerate until he's tackled, then offload the football, one leg held. Away he goes to Lazarus, charges forward, gets the pass away again. There's another one very quickly given out there to Walters. Walters on there to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan gets it away there to Belcher. And Belcher out to Martin, who does the big step and the big dive, and over he goes. And there was the sad side of Izzard, who has scored a try, being left in his wake. So a great disappointment, but Martin scoring a splendid try.
Some 10 or 11 passes in that brilliant piece of rugby league. Laurie Daly from out on touch. Look at that angle for Daly. It's coming around for him, but it won't come anywhere near enough. 15-12, just the 3 in this sudden death semi-final. Baker. 503 points they've amassed so far this year, Canberra. The 2 best attacking teams in 89 are lining up opposite each other in this semi. Clyde. Martin. Lazarus. Get out of my way, he says to Matt Goodwin.
He's a tough article, this fella.
Certainly did some damage in that run. Todd. Stewart. Kicks it low and is looking for a lot of chases, and he's got them too again. Baker. Couldn't get through. They're inside their own quarter again.
20 minutes of football left for one of these teams. Which one will it be? Canberra with their nose in front. Here's Carroll. Just outside the Penrith quarter. Gary Walker's upended. Alexander's kick. Belcher coming across, but the kick will beat him over the line.
Alexander's continued throughout the day, as indeed has Ricky Stewart, to be the absolute master of the kick. They've got their kicks down to a fine art on this Sydney Football Stadium, no question about it.
Stewart works the scrum. Again, it's gone with the feed. This is O'Sullivan, caught by McNeil. And on the sideline, we have a Penrith change getting set, Bill.
Paul Smith will be going on. He's a specialist winger. He'll be taking Brad Izzard's spot. Personally, I would have just moved Izzard closer to the action, I think.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Now the Raiders keeping it alive now with Brett Todd. 5 metres from the halfway mark. Stewart. And then out for O'Sullivan. Meninga, quick hands to Daly. That's great stuff. Daly into the clear, over the halfway mark. Putting the foot down now, looks for support back inside. He's got it, but the ball has come loose. McNeil's been able to pick it up for Penrith.
Magnificent stuff there,
wasn't it?
Beautiful pass from Meninga. Absolutely superb to put Daly away on this long run. The pass goes astray at this point, or the pass from the Canberra point of view goes astray, with Bradley Clyde being unable to handle it. But that was a great attack. One gets the feeling that Canberra might just go on with this game.
So the Panthers just about on their own quarter line, and they've got more problems too, as Bradley is being assisted from the field by Brian Hyder back in the Canberra half. So the injury's starting to come out for Penrith. Alexander, a knock on from Mortimer, and a knock on from the Canberra players. He tried to pick it up.
Yeah, Alexander's pass touched the back of Fiddler and altered its trajectory so that Mortimer just couldn't handle it. Unfortunate side of Bradley limping from the field for the Penrith side.
So what are they going to do now with Smith, Bill?
The original change obviously was Smith to go on and take the place of Izzard. So
come back to you, Bill. Here's Meninga just bursting through. Put the pass behind him. Picked up very nicely by fullback Belcher. We'll check that change for you in a minute as the Raiders right on the attack, but referee Stone has called a hold here.
Well, Belcher complaining bitterly about having the ball stripped from him there, but nonetheless, you know, the action was stopped marvellously well by the Penrith players. They've done very well to get out of that. They've won this scrum.
What were you saying, Bill?
12 men now.
Bill Anderson, what were you saying?
Well, I can't believe Penrith. They're playing with 12 men now. Well, here comes Smith to the sideline. He's, of course, going to take the place of Bradley, and if they've got any sense at all, they'll push Izzard into the centres.
is on the field now, Smith, so we'll see what they do as they're right on their own line, the Panthers, and Simmons. 15-12, the Raiders over Penrith. Alexander goes to dummy half, got it on for Geyer. A couple of really threatening raids from the Raiders have just fallen down at the last minute as Carroll tries to force his way through. 5 tackles gone.
Unfortunately, that's the modus operandi of Carroll. He just forces his way through. He doesn't ever attempt to pass the football.
It's come back for Baker for the kick, Bill, but I would have thought that Alexander might be in there looking for a little chip kick.
Yeah, he's a super player, Greg Alexander. I'm not sure if he realises just how good he is. He's going to have to take this game by the scruff of the neck and do something himself. Stewart's in the line. There are opportunities for him just to pop the ball over the top, use his speed and get it. He's just not thinking at the moment.
Johnny Ferguson trying to wind his way up through the defence. Back for Stewart now. Walters forces his way over the halfway line with a strong run. Stewart, O'Sullivan. Inside was Clyde, bounced out of one. Running strongly now, Clyde found support back inside and crashed to the ground. I think it was Walters. It is. He really took a crashing there. 5 tackles gone for the Raiders. O'Sullivan, quick hands out for Belcher. Now out for Ferguson. Ferguson down the touchline, still going, comes inside. Oh, Johnny Ferguson, great stuff. Beautiful step from Ferguson. And he'll score underneath the black dot. Oh, that was a lovely step.
A slight doubt about the pass that went to Ferguson. We'll see it from this angle first. It was beautiful quick hands from O'Sullivan. Out there to Belcher. I'm just a little bit doubtful about that pass there. And Ferguson goes on now. He shows a magnificent ability to step. He's been missed there by one player. Steps back on the inside. Scores the try. Fairly adjacent, as you'll see, right behind the black dot. And that's a marvellous try. I've been hoping that we would see Ferguson release himself or be able to get into the clear. And it's great to see him in this sort of situation. Now, let's see whether we consider the pass was forward or not. There it is. I think it was forward, about 1.5 feet. Anyway, it's been scored, as they say, look in the newspapers. That's if you believe anything you read in the papers, but there it is. Ferguson scores the try, and that's a good one.
Checker Ferguson. Great try to him. Who put 35 on the screen? O'Sullivan taking over the goal-kicking duties, makes no mistake. And the Canberra side now lead Penrith 21-12.
Timmy Sheens with some instructions to the replacements. Kevin Walters is one of them. So Baker to put it deep. Peter Sterling, what's left for Penrith now?
Well, they're in big trouble, aren't they? It's been a long time for Canberra coming to a few of their higher profile players. Took a while to stay interested. I just think Penrith have probably got to take a few options, as Canberra just did then, run the ball on the 5th tackle. There's been a lot of kicking, but not a lot of ball running on that last option. I think that might open something up out wide.
Ron Willie wondering just where they go. Might even contemplate leaping over the balcony there. Lance. Good player for Canberra today in the forwards. Stewart. Meninga. He puts the boot to it. Way downfield away from Baker. Sends him running back to his own in goal. George Piggins is a little bit more interested now. He's certainly eyeing off a great Canberra backline. They've got to keep it alive now, Penrith. Mortimer, Fittler. Somebody's got to get behind him. He stood for an age. Goodwin. Simons beats one out of dummy half. Now Fittler steps brilliantly. Carroll. Last tackle against Penrith Couple of changes, Bill.
Kevin Walters in 17 for Ricky Stewart, who just suffered a leg injury, and Mark Lowry going on for Dean Lance, and that's a real reward for Lance, an early mark.
Certainly would be. Belcher. Ferguson. Nowhere for him to go. Now a Penrith change, Billy.
Darren Willis in 22 for Rod McNeil, who's got a shoulder injury.
So McNeil was originally a replacement himself. Willis joins the action. Had a good game, Ricky Stewart. Great kicking game. Kevin Walters, a member of the successful Raiders reserve grade outfit. Meninga. So they've already won the 21s and the reserves today. Now looking likely to make it 3 out of 3.
Yes, they've done very well for a club that's only newly into the competition.
Now here's Royce Simmons trying to offload, and he does so as the Panthers desperately try to claw their way back into this football game. They trail by 9 points. Walker. Alexander's pass on for Fiddler, then on for Mortimer. And then Izzard running strongly, caught though by, got away from Lance and found support back inside from Alexander. Now Geyer, who wants it? Somehow or other, Alexander's able to scoop that up. Turns it back inside for Smith. He's pulled down just on the Canberra quarter line on the last tackle. Alexander puts this right in the goal mouth area. Up goes Belcher, couldn't handle it. And they're claiming a try, Penrith. But knocked on, said Nick Stone.
Guy's almost in tears there about that. He's obviously the ball that was knocked forward, and the referee has been right beside the action. But Guy got up and pleaded desperately with the referee to allow that, with a real distraught look in his face.
21-12, the Canberra side at this stage set to go into the preliminary final next Sunday. And Penrith may well have about 9 minutes of football left for the season. Sullivan with a bit of a juggle. And then finally threads his way through. He's got support too from Walters. Walters is running strongly. Crashed down 32 metres out from the Penrith line. They need a quick play the ball. Walters having awful trouble getting to his feet. Now Sullivan's down the blind side. A little kick ahead is going to turn, in fact, a big kick ahead, and it's gone dead.
Yes, the option O'Sullivan took on that occasion was one of the rare mistakes he's made in the matches we've seen this final series.
Well, I've been very, very impressed, as has everybody else here, with Dean Lance's work rate in this game. He's sidelined now with Bill Anderson.
Dino, you've got this one wrapped up, but it took a while, didn't it? It was a long time coming.
It took a while, mate, but, you know, it's still 8 minutes to go. If they don't pick up their intensity, I think they're still in for a shock, but we're ahead at this stage, yeah.
Has it been as tough a game as it's looked from here on the sideline?
Yeah, certainly. Penrith, as you know, are a very physical side, and that's the way we knew they'd play it, but, to our guys' credit, we stuck with them.
I'll let you go and get a few stitches.
Thanks, Chess. Thanks, Billy.
Lazarus inside the quarter. Wallace turns it back to his brother, Kevin Wallace, underneath the post. That's it. That's 1989 for Penrith. And that's a preliminary final berth for the Raiders as the cheer girls dance. And why wouldn't they dance?
Very simple try. Steve Walters onto Kevin Walters, and that's the try. That's the action. Just a slight run from dummy half and the reverse pass back. Now watch him run one way and turn the pass back the other. No defence at all. It's a rather soft try, that one. It's a try that probably Penrith didn't deserve to have scored against them at this late stage. They had a few players lying down and there, maybe injured in the previous play the ball situation, but that's a very, very soft try.
3 tries for Kevin Wallace this year, and the same number as his brother. And O'Sullivan has been presented with another very easy kick.
Of all the great attacking players in this Canberra side, I think this fellow's a standout performer. Chris O'Sullivan, the goal kicker at this particular time. This little fellow, he's as quick as a ferret and has a work rate which really belies his 29 years. Astonishing player.
O'Sullivan adds the extras. Penrith have made the change. Matt Goodwin's been replaced, but look at that scoreline. Canberra 27 and Penrith 12. And as Penrith do come back for the restart, Bill, there's been some more changes in both sides.
They sure have. Jeff Gerard, a farewell for him. His last game of rugby league. He's replaced Matt Goodwin. And Wayne Collins has gone on in 22 for Canberra. He's replacing Laurie Daly.
So away it comes for Lowry. Laurie Daly all rugged up in front of Timmy Sheens, now starting to show a bit of a smile. Big Jeff Gerard. Thought he might have been involved earlier in this match. And Ron Woolley will have quite a bit of time up his sleeve now to think about the changes that he's made in recent weeks. He took some gambles which haven't come off. Nice tackle against Canberra. Meninga.
Well, Graham, I think it's true to say that you can't make a soup purse out of a sow's ear. By that I mean you can't teach footballers to have skills that they don't possess. And unfortunately the Penrith pack, in my view, have lost this game by running into the opposition rather than running at gaps.
And also with mistakes like that, they haven't controlled the ball at all.
Yes, it's been a pretty ordinary afternoon from that point of view, but let's not take anything away from the game. It's been a first-class game of rugby league, and the effort that's been put in has been tremendous.
Alexander showing plenty of signs of a real war out there. Izzard. Wood has also moved into the centres. Started out marking each other on the wing. Inside the last 5 minutes. Gerard. Driven back. Fittler. Little chip down the blind for Alexander. Coming very late in the match. It's what Anderson was calling for even in the first half. Belcher. Peter Sterling, I want to ask you a question about this Canberra side. Their back line has been in sensational form. Do they have the forwards to go right on?
I think they do. I think they've got a tremendous set of forwards, very solid. They do the work. They go forward in both attack and defence, and they set a great platform for the backs, and obviously they can take full advantage of it. One thing I do have to say about the Canberra side is that I would like to see some of their, as I say, their higher profile players, maybe like Brad Clyde, just stay involved for the full 80 minutes and not come in bursts.
The scrum will go down about 30 metres out. 32 out. Right in midfield. Alexander having the option of going left or right. He goes to Chris Mortimer, who knocks on.
Well, Chris is not customarily making those sort of mistakes. It was a reasonable pass.
Against the feed. Mortimer out for Fittler. Izzard. Bit of room to move. He's going to take on Meninga. He won't win there. Right down inside the quarter. Time running out for Penrith on their year of 1989 as Gerard just settles it down. Well, the flick pass from Royce Simmons There was nothing wrong with the pass except there was no one there to run onto it. Carroll. About a minute and a half to go. It's going to be the Raiders to go through to the final to meet up with the loser of Balmain and Souths. Walters for Clyde. Great tackle. The crowd has gone quiet. So maybe that chance from the 4th or 5th semi-final spot is on again in '89. Balmain nearly did it last year. O'Sullivan. He shaped a kick on the last. Steve Walters is going to get into the kicking game. He does it quite well too. Ferguson is chasing. Simons through the dummy and beat Ferguson. He's still got support now. If he had have looked outside, Baker was unmarked.
Yes, that probably would have meant Baker going to about their quarter.
Gerard unloads. Willis. Canberra bench just looking on, knowing they've got the win. Willis again. Gerard. Daly's face tells it all. Little chip from Geyer into the open space. He kicks ahead again. Now Smith gets a toe to it. They're going to score right at the death, Penrith. We've been talking about a chip. Why hasn't it been on right through the match? And when it's not going to be any use to them, they come up with 4 points.
Well, there it was. Geyer, a most unlikely player to do the kick and chase, got the little kick over the top, got the ball, the foot to the ball again, and in the race for the ball, it's Smith that's able to get the ball, and he waited there. I'm glad to see he didn't try to attempt to pick it up in the field of play. There's Geyer with a little, well, he had everything, a bit of class there. He looked one way and kicked it the other. Belcher was beaten by the bounce coming to him, and Geyer got a kick to it again, and Smith was able to help it over the sideline. See the way he's waiting until he gets over the line before he falls on it? Now, Ron Willie will be thinking, oh, if only they'd done that a few minutes earlier.
Baker wasting no time with the kick. I doubt there's time for a restart of play. And in wasting no time, he puts it right between the posts. There's the siren. Penrith are out of the action. But Canberra, the supporters know they've got a great chance of finding their way to the Winfield Cup Grand Final. They did it. There's some marvellous play in the back line today. Some real stars for the Raiders. They've set up a big win. And a warning to all the other teams. They did it 27-18.
And their tries came this way from Canberra. Daly, Wood, Martin, Ferguson and Walters in the 5 tries. Wood a goal, Stewart a field goal, O'Sullivan 2 goals. But Penrith, it was 18 points, scored through Izzard, Van der Voort and Smith. And Baker kicked 3